Welcome back to the Fine Finish Podcast, Episode 2. I'm your host, Matt. Thanks for listening to our first episode last week. We did a deep dive into the career of Louis Hasso, owner of Fine Finish Supply and creator and co-host of this podcast. We have another good one for you today. We're joined by an industry professional out of Louisiana who's been doing his thing for over 30 years. Thanks for tuning in to the Fine Finish Podcast. Let's get started.
I go hard in the paint, leave you stankin'. What the thinking? I won't die.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Fine Finish Podcast. My name is Matt. I'm your host. Right now it's just me. Louis has had to step out for a little bit, but he's going to be here for all future episodes, and he may step back in here in a little bit, but we'll see. Today we got a good episode. We got a visitor from Louisiana. His name is Russell Lindsey. He came for the stain to paint refinish class that we had at Fine Finish Supply. Hey Russell, how you doing?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing well.
Doing well, good. And where are you at from Louisiana?
Pearl River, Louisiana. It's just a little bit north of New Orleans.
Okay, all
Probably
right.
about 30-minute drive from New Orleans.
Okay. And you came in for the stain to paint refinish class?
Yes.
How did you hear about that?
Watch it online. I've seen a lot of Lewis's videos online, and I really enjoy watching his videos, and I've gained a lot of information just by watching his videos.
Yeah.
So I knew this is where I wanted to come to check it out.
Cool. All right. Well, we were glad to have you here. And we can dive into a little bit about that, about the stain class here in a little bit. Can you give me a little bit of background on you? Maybe how you got into the industry? Just tell me about yourself.
Well, my dad was a contractor. He's been a contractor for, 45 years or so. And I worked for him just for about a year or so when I was young, and then branched out on my own when I was like 21 years old. And so I've been working for myself for a little over 30 years.
Yeah.
And mainly doing residential repaints, a little commercial work, but mainly residential repaints. Interior, exterior. We do a little other stuff. We do sheetrock repair work, and we've tried cabinet painting projects in the past, but I've never really found products that I thought was what I was looking for. And so I figured I would come here and check out these renter products and learn from somebody who specializes in the industry.
Yeah. And you were telling me a little while ago that you're just getting into the wood finishing part of this. You said you did a little bit of cabinets, but as far as doing it probably to the degree you want to do it at, you're just getting into that.
Oh yeah,
right?
we want to go more into the cabinet repaint market, and so I figured I'd come here for some training on it and check out the coatings, and that's one of the big things because I just haven't found the right coatings that we're looking for, and the training to go along with it.
Yeah. Okay. So what are some of the products that you got today that you're leaving with?
I got the, I bought some 851 clear.
Okay.
That we're going to be, and I bought the staining contractor kit to do some toning and staining work with. We're going to be doing some experiment with that because I think some people sometimes have stained cabinets that they like, but they don't necessarily want to paint them. They just want to change the color of them some. So we were looking at doing some little toning, and Louis did a little training with me, showed me some basics on some toning stuff. So I got the contractor stain kit. We also bought some of the single component paint coatings.
Yeah.
And which is some of the stuff we worked with this week.
Yeah.
During the class, which was very impressive. The how fast it dries,
Yeah.
how nice it sands, and just seems to be a really good coating.
What kind of stuff have you used in the past as far as materials go?
We've tried a little bit of everything. We've done, different Sherwin-Williams and Benjamin Moore. We've done, the oil base and Pervo and all the different stuff, just trying something that we would be happy with.
Yeah.
But drying time is always the issue. And then also the stack time. And when you got to wait forever to be able to stack it and bring it back, and maybe it gets banged up along the way and all that. So we was looking for something with a fast stack time.
Yep.
Something that laid out nice, and something that you could just paint it and keep rolling with it.
Yeah. And I think one of the things y'all talked about in the class was one-piece flow.
One-piece flow.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
Have you done that in the past?
Nope. Never heard of it till I started watching Lewis's videos.
Yeah.
And so that's what we got into this week. It was a one-piece flow.
And it went by pretty quick, right?
Yeah, it flows well. It makes it where, like Lewis says, we ain't going to stand around and watch paint dry.
Yeah.
It just, by the time you get one side coated on all of them, they're already dry and ready to flip them and go on to the next side. So we didn't watch paint dry. We stayed hustling. We got the project done in 2 days, from start to finish. And so it was definitely informative, and I think it's a good process.
That's good. Yeah. That's something you need. You were telling you want to train your guys on, right? Or was it was the actual schedule for the renter that you were using? But having an SOP for that one-piece flow would probably be beneficial too, right?
I did. Yeah, I talked to Lewis about that. About it would be nice if he would develop just a SOP on it, and from start to finish, how each step along the way, how to follow it, and then as people come and take the class and learn how to use the products and everything, he can hand that off to them, and they can leave with it, and then have that SOP to implement into their company. And I think that would be good. That was one of our recommendations that I took out of this class. It'd be nice if he had a SOP in place that he could just pass off. Yeah. And because we'd like to implement it into our company.
Yeah, for sure. What has been your process?
Well, typically, I probably like most do, they sand everything all at one time. They clean everything all at one time, stack them, and then you spray everything all at one time. And you got the drying time issues and stuff. This one-piece flow where you clean it on site.
Yep.
We did all the cleaning on site. That way, when we got back to the shop, they were pretty much clean. We did a little wipe down with some glass cleaner.
Yep.
Just to make sure it didn't have any dust on it and all that stuff. And we sanded them with the surf press sander with hooked to the vacuum, so that worked well. And then just wipe it down, and as soon as you sand it, wipe it down and shoot it. Yeah. And then on to the next piece. Stack it on the rack, sand the next one, wipe it down, shoot it, stack it on the rack, on to the next piece. By the time we got to the end, which we started with the backs, of course, and then flip it over, you're ready for the fronts. Yeah. And so it went really fast. We stayed steadily rolling. There's no standing around waiting for anything. Yeah. I mean, we had two of us doing it, and we just rolled through it and knocked the kitchen out in 2 days.
Yeah. I mean, typically you'd have a crew of guys doing that on site anyways, right? So, I mean, but you probably could. What about doing that by yourself? Do you think using that one-piece flow by yourself?
Yeah, it's doable.
Yeah, it's doable.
It just made it a little faster having a second guy, but
having somebody else,
doing it just with the one-piece flow, I see it very easily for one man to be able to do it
for sure
without a problem.
Yeah. So in the past, just maybe think back to some projects that you had before. Can you think of anything specific? Any challenges maybe you've had with process? Maybe a specific one in particular that you can recall. That maybe took you too long. Something dragged out. The customer wasn't happy. Maybe something like that.
Well, we've had issues mainly. The big thing has always been drying time and stack
and you
time.
mentioned that a second ago, yeah.
And we did one like years ago when we early in the business. I don't even remember the product. It was probably an oil base. Mm-hmm. We let them dry for like a week or so, and then we stacked them. They felt dry. They felt like they were good to go after like a week or a little better of drying, and we stacked them, brought them back to the job site, and we went to take them apart, and they were stuck.
Oh.
And we had to totally redo all the cabinets because they were stuck.
So they were stuck together.
And so we've had several things, throughout the years like that where it just makes you not even want to mess with doing the cabinet projects.
Yeah.
And so we've just been like avoiding them, but there's a big need for it. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are wanting it. Some of them are wanting them painted. Some of them are wanting them just toned different, a different color tone to them. And the drying time with these products are just, it's outstanding. So I'm excited about getting back into the market. Also the Apollo gun. Mm-hmm. We used the Apollo gun this week, and that thing works great. I went ahead and bought me one, and it just atomizes very well. The coating come out beautiful using that Apollo gun. So I went ahead and picked me up one. We've used airlesses and different HVLPs, and we've tried a little bit of everything, and what we use this week seemed to just work great.
This episode is brought to you by Fine Finish Supply. Are you ready to join the revolution and make money with us? At Fine Finish Supply, we couldn't give a damn about what everyone else thinks. The only opinion that matters to us is our customers. If you're ready to dominate your market while others just sit back and talk, take a good hard look at this. Why choose Fine Finish Supply? 1. Our coatings are top notch. Elevate your projects and leave your competitors in the dust. 2. Get access to insider knowledge and game-changing techniques. Our educational resources are for those who want to be at the top of their game. 3. We've built real businesses while still being good, decent human beings. Our systems are designed to help you crush your market. So what sets us apart? We're here for those who understand that real success is all about action, not words. No BS, no excuses, just premium products, knowledge, and support for those who are ready to make money. Ready to dominate your market? If you're done with the noise and ready to take your business to the next level, Fine Finish Supply is here to make it happen. Contact us today to access premium wood coatings, exclusive education, and proven systems for those who know how to win. 1-866-304-8640 or www.finefinishsupply.com. And now, back to the show. All right, Lewis, just step back in. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on? And, man, Russell, I really appreciate you doing this with us on our second episode. Sorry, I was back there having to make some paint. So, you were kind of filling me in. Y'all were just kind of going over the training class and everything. Yeah. And, Russell, I really wanted to ask you, specifically, we had another guy with us, Lewis, who was also Lewis, and I heard you giving him some really good advice because you've been in business for yourself, so long. And I know you have employees, and I'm real, familiar with having employees as well. And, man, can you kind of tell us, some of the advice you were giving? I know I heard you telling Lewis, it was a struggle for sure in the beginning. And kind of how was that journey, for you, the first 1 to 10 years?
Oh, we started 30 years ago, and the first 10 years was rough. Back then, we didn't have the advantages that we have nowadays with cell phones and computers and all that kind of stuff. Like when somebody would call the number, they'd have to leave the message on on my answer machine. I'd get it later that evening, mm-hmm. or I would have them. I'd also leave my beeper number on there. I mean, a lot of people don't even know what beepers are these days, but I'd leave my beeper number, and people would page me on my beeper, and have to stop, use the cell phone, and call the customer back. And you always want to try to be first to get back to the customer, because if especially these days, people look for instant everything, and if you don't get back to them, in a reasonable amount of time, they'll move on and start calling somebody else, unless they specifically looking for you because you were recommended by a family member or something like that. But
yeah, it's interesting because I was reading something the other day that said, I think it's like 80% of people, if they're looking to have something done and you don't pick up, they are moving on. They are going to call and continue to call until somebody picks up the phone and they get the response that they're looking for. So, no, you're absolutely right. I don't even know how many people are actually leaving messages anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
myself included. I mean, the other day we were looking for some random thing and I probably called 10 different people and, half of them didn't answer, and I did not leave any messages. It was just, okay, you didn't answer, click. So
yeah, I think that's pretty typical these days. I find myself doing it, and that's why I noticed if I'm looking for something, or if I, want to try to find somebody to repair a vehicle or, whatever, I'll call around, and if I got to wait to talk to somebody, I'm going to call somebody else.
no, exactly.
So what I was telling Lewis, one thing we done years ago, it's probably been about 15 years now or so we've had it. We have an answering service that we pay for monthly. And somebody answers that phone 24/7. There's never a time where you call and they got to talk to an answer machine or, have to leave a message. They talk to a live person. As soon as they leave that message, it's sent to me by text message, where they send me their name, address, phone number, what they're looking to have done. They also send me an email. And one of the benefits I was thinking of is later in life when I go to maybe try to sell this company, I have a running log for the last 15 years showing the call volume that we get. And I think as a potential buyer of a business, I'd want to see, how much business that they do, how many opportunities, can come in, because we have an 8-man crew, but we have opportunities to get to a lot more work if we had the right crew and a bigger crew. So, the opportunities are out there, but you got to be able to have the crew and get to them.
So is that kind of your goal, is to sell this company?
I think so. I think I'd either like to build it to sell, to be able to retire, or just take on a manager that can operate it and keep stuff rolling. So,
is your son not interested?
No, he does. He likes to do automobile detailing and stuff, so he has no interest in the industry. But I'd like to have somebody just to either keep it going and let them manage it, and I check in on them and stuff. And that's one reason why I mentioned this class being put into an SOP, because I drug my feet on and getting together my SOPs for how everything should run in the business. And if I plan on selling it, I'm going to have all that in place. Yeah. Because you want to be able to pass off your procedures, because that's what's got you the business for the last, 30 years. Say if I sell it in 10 years from now, it'd be 40 years in business. Yep. And whoever calls our company, Ponderosa Painting, they expect what they've been told. And so you want to be able to deliver the same quality, have the same experiences. So I'm working towards getting everything on SOPs, and you and Matt mentioned that y'all can make up one for this class that we just did, and I think it would be beneficial.
For the one-piece flow.
Yeah, the one-piece flow. I think in that process, it worked great with 2 guys. You could use 3 guys. It's such a system that if you could do it with 1 guy and be effective, you could do it with 2 guys and be effective. 3 guys, it just keeps rolling so well that no matter if you got 1 guy or 3 guys, it's still an effective method of doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was funny because Lewis he made a comment and he's like, "Man, this just never stops." And I said, "No, It doesn't. I think I made the comment to you. It was like the employees might not like it, because I know how that is where you're batch processing everything and these guys will sand and take a break, or they'll just stop and take a break. And then, it's not very efficient at all. And also I've found that, we see a lot of guys, they get kind of complacent, and you'll see if you're talking about batch processing and sanding, you'll see like the first quarter of the rack look really good on the sanding, and then just starts getting really, really sloppy because these guys get complacent doing it, and it just becomes very redundant, and they start rushing through it. I've seen that a million different times. Even on the spraying, I tell a lot of people, one of the biggest benefits to one-piece flow is being able to catch something that might happen, so this job that we did, the lady cleaned her cabinets with lemon oil, and I was really concerned that we were going to have contamination issues. So with the one-piece flow, I was watching those first 2 to 3 doors to see what was going to go on the surface, and we would have only been 20 minutes into it and noticed that there was an issue, and we could have stopped to address that issue and fix it. So, I love to see people open and willing to it. And I know somebody like you with employees, that's usually the person that I'm trying to talk to about efficiency and one-piece flow, because they understand that better. You and I had that conversation about, the guy jumping in a truck, to go get something, like, oh, I forgot tape, or I forgot this, or I forgot that. And as business owners, I mean, how does that affect you?
Oh, it's huge, because any time that's wasted, especially, if you only waste 15, 20 minutes or something like that, but you got 8 employees, that adds up fast.
Yeah.
The money adds up. You put taxes and insurance and everything out, plus the fuel going to the store, the liability of maybe you'll get in an accident along the way. It's just, if you have a system set up, have a SOP, have a checklist of the products you're going to need to go do that as a business owner. If you set it all up for your employees, all they have to do is just follow the list. Mm-hmm. And if you can teach anybody just to follow the list, and if you got the right process down, they follow the list, and it makes it more effective. It makes the company, run smoother. It just would be a better, overall process. And that's, as a small business owner, that's something I'm constantly trying to improve myself, and still need to, do a better job at doing that. We can't expect any more out of our employees than what we teach them, mm-hmm. or what we set up as, SOP. So that's one reason why I'm here taking the class, to learn from somebody that has the experience, and of course ask a bunch of questions, because I want to be able to bring back and teach my crew and teach them the right way. And I want to teach them this one-piece flow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I had heard you make the comment, about 15 minutes, I think. You told, I think it was Lewis, he said, when you have 8 guys and they stand around for 15 minutes, that's a lot of money. I mean, even if, simple math, $10 an hour at 8 guys, I mean, that's a lot of money standing around. So
yeah, it adds up fast.
Yeah, and I think that's real important for a lot of people to hear, because I just see, in our business and having multiple conversations, I see a lot of inefficiencies. I see a lot of people doing things that are maybe just too over the top. And maybe you can expand on that. I mean, I've recently started talking a lot about, acceptable standards, right? We have people that come to us that I tell them, like, man, you're doing too much. You're way overdoing this. Like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing, 3 different, or 2 different primers and a top coat and this, and sanding to this level? Because your competition's not doing that, and that's, at least that's what I see, right? And how do you deal with that? I mean, especially with employees, because you're more supervising, high level overview. I mean, how do you determine your acceptable standard? Is it just allowing the customer to kind of, tell you, or?
One good thing about us is our employees have been with us for a long time. So back when I was working in the field and working hands-on with them, we got the process together between us ourselves, and they know our process. So, I mean, we are very picky and kind of meticulous, but then you can overdo it also, that you're not doing any better of a job. You're just wasting time.
Mm-hmm.
And but there again, it all goes back to having the right SOP, having all the materials you need to be able to do the job. And if you have a process that works, like the one-piece flow, that there's no sense in trying to change it up. If you know it's a proven fact, they come out looking good, the products are working like they're supposed to, the customer's happy with it, why mess with that? And so that's what I'm looking forward to implementing, is this one-piece flow, and I think it'll improve efficiency, and in the end, it'll improve the revenue.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What are some of the contractors, Lewis, that you mentioned? What do they tell you? You said you asked them the question, why are you doing this much? You're doing too much. What are their answers sometimes?
Well, what I hear a lot is that they are trying to differentiate themselves from the competition.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear that a lot, and I see that a lot, especially on social media. I really feel like a lot of these younger companies, I even ask them sometimes, like, who are you doing this for? Are you doing this to impress other business owners that are doing the exact same thing as you? Or are you doing this for your customers? Because when I see it and when I hear it and when I have the conversation, it's not real clear to me. Mm-hmm. Companies like Russell's, it's very clear to me, you're trying to please your customers.
Mm-hmm.
Other larger customers that have been established longer, when you look at their marketing material, you look at the content that they are putting out, it's very clear, like, their message is to their target market customer.
Yeah.
They're not concerned with, recording a bunch of their process, right? Like, we see that a lot. We see a lot of people posting content and descriptions that are way over the top for their target market. Like, their target market is not going to understand that, and I think it just causes a lot of confusion, and in the long run could potentially hurt that company, especially with digital marketing and the way the algorithms work. When you start attracting the attention of not necessarily your competitor, but your people in your industry, social media is no longer recognizing you as a service company to service a local market. They're thinking you're trying to be an influencer.
Yeah.
Right. And I just, it's a mental thing too. I think that's, a lot of people have they really need to see that for what it is, and not try to get that validation from, other professionals all the time. Not to say it's bad, but not all the time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. And Russell, what is your experience with social media right now? How are you doing anything with that?
No, not really. We should be doing a little more, but we normally stay so busy as it is that we have such a waiting list most of the time. It has changed a little bit just in the last couple of months. I've seen it slow down some, but typically we have such a waiting list for us that I just haven't pushed social media.
Not utilizing as much.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad idea, and especially somebody that would be newly starting out, or maybe just the first few years or whatever. I would think it would be a good thing to look into.
Yeah.
But being 30 years into it, we got so many customers that we just haven't pushed it. I I think website is a big thing, and we had a website built that I just had a friend make it for me, and we need to improve on that. I need to get a professional website built. But there again, it comes back to we're always so busy anyway that I just kind of ignore that now. If I was 5 years in or whatever, that would be a top priority.
Yeah.
You know, because I haven't built a customer base yet. You need to be, you know, looking sharp and being professional. And a lot of times I think that's the big key with our customers we've found is you go in there and you're very professional, you're clean cut, and they feel comfortable with you. You make a good impression on them, and you build a rapport with them, and they want to use you. Next time they need something done, or their family needs something done, or their neighbors or whatever, and they'll build the business for you. They'll spread the word and build it for you. So that's how we kind of grew, was just so many people spreading the word for us that we didn't rely on social media.
Yeah.
And but I would think starting out or the first 5 years or whatever, I think it would be a good thing to use social media more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just utilizing it in the right way. That's the main thing, because it can be a very, very powerful tool when used correctly. You know, so
right. And I think using it incorrectly could probably have the opposite effect.
Absolutely, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, what else? I think.
I think if you have anything else you want to say, Russell.
No, I appreciate Lewis putting on this class for us. It was informative, and the one piece flow even worked with me and the guy Lewis that was in the class with me. I never met him before, but it just proves that this process can work without people that normally work together.
Good point.
And you don't even have to be like a lot of processes. You perfect the process because you work with the guys for 10 years or whatever, so you know who's doing what and all that. I never met this guy before in my life, and we was able to flow right through this project in 2 days.
Yeah.
And it's such a simple process that you can just anybody can hop in, follow the directions, and just roll with it and get it knocked out.
Absolutely.
You know what was interesting is that Lewis, he's not a painter. He's a carpenter.
Right.
And that is his business model, is carpentry, and he's now trying to incorporate paint. So, you know, I'm not sure if he had ever really painted much of anything.
I think he said he really hasn't, but he wanted to, and he wanted to learn, and it looked like he picked up on the process fairly quickly. It's a simple process, and I think that's a good thing, is to not overcomplicate things. And if you make it too complicated, it's too hard to follow, and it just complicates it more than it needs to be. Yeah. The other thing is not knowing anything about. I drove in from Louisiana. I don't know anything about the area or whatever, and Lewis offered me the Airbnb he has, and that worked out really well. Nice place, right in town, good location, easy to get to everything, and that was a nice experience to be able to stay at the Airbnb, and I appreciate that offer.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, we've got it's going to be kind of like a frat house here in a couple weeks, because we've got, I think, 5 guys staying there. We're doing that toning class, and that sold out really, really quick. So I'm trying to put another toning class on the books, because now we're getting people that are wanting to do a toning class.
Yeah, and we talked about that a little bit before you came into our conversation, that we're getting some people that they want their cabinets different, but they don't really want them painted. So they just want them toned a little bit. Get rid of that gold color that was, popular way back. So we did a little toning training this morning, and I think that gives me a good feel for going home and doing some additional training. I bought the contractor kit, so I'm going to go home and do some additional training in the shop, and I think it's a good market that. Just the cabinet industry, painting the cabinets or toning them, That's something that we just been avoiding because of the not having the right products. So now I feel better about the products that we're going to be working with, and we're going to, instead of just letting these cabinet jobs go by us, we're going to start getting on some of them.
How can people find you, Russell?
We have a website, ponderosapainting.net. I'm sorry, ponderosapainting.net. Our office number is 985-863-7731, and it's answered 24/7. So anybody in the we mainly we're in St. Tammany Parish, which is just north of New Orleans, and that we mainly try to service St. Tammany Parish area. Every once in a while, we will go to New Orleans for special requests from customers, but we try to normally stay in St. Tammany Parish. So,
okay.
And we're always looking for professionals that are looking for a job that have a good attitude and are professional. We're always looking for people. So anybody in the area looking for a job, we keep our guys busy year round. And so yeah, if anybody in the area, we'd be glad to talk to them.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well,
yeah. Well, we appreciate you coming down, Russell. It was nice, spending these 2 days with you, and we look forward to helping you out.
Okay, sounds good. You'll be ordering some products.
All right.
All right, guys. Appreciate everybody tuning in.
Yeah, we'll talk to y'all next time.
Later.
I go hard in the paint. Leave you stankin'. What the thinking? I won't die for you.